You know, some books find you before you find them. If you love wandering through libraries, you will understand what I'm about to say. There are books that seem to call out from the shelf, softly, persistently. You pick them up, feel their weight, glance through the blurb, and then you put them back thinking, I am not ready for this kind of emotional entanglement. But somehow, every time you walk past that shelf, the book looks at you again, as if it's trying to be seen, not by everyone, but by you. And one day, you give in. You respect its quiet effort, you take it home, and slowly the book opens itself to you. And in doing so, it touches your soul. For me, that book was Anatomy of a Disappearance by Hisham Matar. I am Shalit Jimmy, and this is my channel where I talk about books, stories, and the magic they leave behind. Before reading it, I had just finished J.M. Coetzee's Disgrace, and even though I didn't fully understand everything about post apartheid South Africa, the emotional weight of the story still reached me. It was the same with this book. I knew almost nothing about Libya in the 1970s, nothing about the political tensions, nothing about the fear people lived with under Gaddafi's regime. But emotions don't need history lessons, right? Pain, longing, love, confusion, grief, these are universal. And Hisham Matar writes from a place of deep personal truth. His own father was kidnapped by the Gaddafi regime and simply disappeared. No answers, no closure, only silence. And that silence echoes throughout this novel. This is the story of Nouri, a young boy living in exile in Cairo. After his mother dies mysteriously, he grows up with a father who's gentle, loving, but also distant, unknowable, full of secrets. Then one day, his father is kidnapped from Switzerland and vanishes without a trace, just like the author's own father. But the novel isn't driven by plot, it is driven by a boy's aching desire to understand the man who raised him, his father. It is an inward journey, not through geography or chronology, but through memory, emotion, and silence. The emotional weight of the story lies in the things Nouri doesn't understand. He doesn't know what really happened to his mother. His one memory is his father carrying her limp body to an ambulance. He never asks Naima, their maid who loves him, or Abdu, his father's trusted driver. Why? What was stopping him? Was it fear? Trauma? Or the heaviness of too many unanswered questions already sitting on his heart? That quiet emotional struggle forms the core of his character. And then comes Mona. Nouri and his father first meet Mona in Alexandria, a young, beautiful English woman. And here the story takes a painfully human turn. A 12-year-old boy falls in love with her. Not a childish crush, but a deep, burning fascination born from loneliness and need. Even after she becomes his stepmother, Nouri watches her, follows her, adoring her the way one adores someone unreachable. He studies her face, her presence, her fragility until he feels he knows her body more than he should. And Mona never truly discourages him. Perhaps the father saw this, and that is why he sends Nouri away to boarding school in England at Mona's suggestion. Nouri wishes his father away, and then one day his father actually vanishes. Be careful what you wish for, the book quietly warns us. When Nouri's father is kidnapped, the emotional balance of every relationship collapses. Mona breaks down. Not once does she suspect her husband was unfaithful. She believes the Swiss woman Beatrice betrayed him, not loved him. He was arrested from the bed of Beatrice. But was Mona truly in love with her husband, or was she simply caught in her own loneliness? These questions hover unanswered. Nouri and Mona cling to each other in their shared grief. Their emotional boundaries blur again, until Naima, the maid who loves Nouri like a son, quietly intervenes. Nouri is sent back to England, and once again he is alone. It takes 11 long years for Nouri to find Beatrice, the Swiss woman who last saw his father alive. And what he learns from her is not scandal, not betrayal, but something tender. His father had moments of peace before he disappeared, moments of normalcy, moments of being simply a man, not an exile, not a fugitive, just a human being living a quiet moment of life. and that knowledge comforts Nuri. Later, Nuri dreams of his father speaking softly to him, saying that his mother still whispers in his ears sometimes. It is a heartbreaking image. A family trying to find their way back to one another, even in dreams. And then comes the most touching moment. Beatrice tells Nuri that his father loved him so much that he froze around him. What a gentle, painful way to describe a father son relationship full of unspoken love. Mona eventually shows the bitterness when she cruelly suggests that Nuri might be Naima's son. It shocks him. But Nuri responds with calm dignity. I look like my great grandfather. That's why I look darker. That moment reveals the man he has grown into. Steady, compassionate, wounded, but graceful. Nuri never believes his father is dead, but he never fully believes he is alive either. He lives in the space between hope and grief, a quiet, painful waiting that so many people in politically torn countries carry in their hearts, and that is what makes this book unforgettable. It is not a story with answers, it is a story filled with absences, absences that shape a life. And long after you close the book, the silence of that disappearance stays with you. This book found me, and I think it will find you too.